वेलकम बैक वंस अगेन टू एडुक्सर डिस्कस करेंगे क्लास 10 चैप्टर 2 एसिड बेस एंड सॉल्ट का बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक दैट इज सम इंपॉर्टेंट सॉल्ट्स एंड देयर यूजेस. नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द इंपॉर्टेंट सॉल्ट दैट इज द बेकिंग सोडा. बेकिंग सोडा. Right now, first of all, we must have to know about the chemical formula. Chemical formula of baking soda, that is NaHCO3. And what do you call it? The chemical name. What is the chemical name of it? Then you must call Na, that is the sodium, H for hydrogen, and CO3, that is the carbonate. Then what is the chemical name of it? That is the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Its another name is also here sodium bicarbonate. Okay. How can we obtain the baking soda? This is the obtained by the process of a simple reaction between the sodium chloride NaCl, H2O, CO2 and ammonia. Baking soda is produced by reaction among NaCl, that is sodium chloride, CO2 carbon dioxide, H2O and water, H2O, and that is ammonia. Okay, how can you write down on the full reaction here? You must have to observe from here. There is a reaction between the NaCl, CO2, H2O and NH3. What we conclude from there? We got here NH4Cl and NaHCO3, that the ammonium chloride, that the ammonium chloride, and this one is the sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is the NaHCO3. It means if we react all of them with each other, then we find out here the ammonium chloride and NaHCO3. There is also a reaction that provide us the NaHCO3, and that is इसके अलावे हम लोग जो रिएक्शन by dissolving dry ice in Na2CO3 along with water. Okay, whenever we react the dry ice, that is CO2, in Na2CO3 sodium carbonate along with the water, then we got here we find out here the sodium hydrogen carbonate. One thing is missing here, that is the NaOH also with water and NaOH. Sodium hydroxide is also in this reaction. Then this there is a two reaction by which we can got this NaOH-CO3. One is the baking soda is produced by the reaction among the NaCl, CO2, H2 and NH3. We got here the ammonium chloride and NaOH-CO3, and another reaction is also here, that is dissolving the dry ice in the Na2CO3, that is sodium carbonate, along with the water and sodium hydroxide. We got here sodium hydrogen carbonate. You must have to take the snapshot of it. Then further we move towards the next topic from here, that is the uses. Now one thing you have to understand from there, whenever we heat the sodium hydrogen carbonate, then CO2 release from this. तो जब आप लोग गर्म करते हो सोडियम हाइड्रोजन कार्बोनेट को जब भी आप गर्म करोगे तो उसमें से रिलीज होता है कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, और वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड क्या होता है, जो भी आप पकौड़ा बनाते हो, उस नॉर्मली बेकिंग सोडा जो होता है वो पकौड़े पूड़ी इत्यादि बनाते हैं तो उसमें डाल देते हैं, वहां पर जब गर्म होता है, जब हम लोग गर्म करते हैं NaHCO3 को, तो उसमें फल्फी और स्पॉन्जी हो जाता है कोई भी सबस्टेंस। देखो ये सिंपल जो रिएक्शन होता है वो आप जान लो, बाय हीटिंग सोडियम हाइड्रोजन कार्बोनेट, सोडियम हाइड्रोजन carbonate. So whenever we hit the sodium hydrogen carbonate, what we observe from there, that the NaHCO3, and whenever we hit, then we got here the Na2CO3 plus CO2 and H2O. Okay. Then these things we find from here, that the Na2CO3 sodium carbonate and the CO2 carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide makes the puri, pakode, etc. वगैरह fluffy and spongy. So we can use as the food ingredients in food, making something like this. Okay. Now we move towards the uses of the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate के कुछ uses हैं, उनको हम लोग देखेंगे. So first one is here, to making a baking powder, the uses. We are going to write down here uses of, not we must have to write down on full board. Okay. इसको इरेज करते हैं, पूरे बोर्ड में लिखते हैं इस चीज को, फिर से एक बार रिपीट करके लिखेंगे. चलिए देखिए आप. And uses of NaHCO3, that is the baking powder, baking soda. And your first use is here, to making baking powder, it is produced by, not it is, baking powder is produced by, baking powder is produced by reaction between this baking soda and edible acid. Any edible acid you can take from here. Likewise, the edible acid, there is a lactic acid. You can take the lactic acid or any other citric acid, or that is the edible acid. And whenever we mix it with the baking soda, we can find out here NaHCO. We can find out here the baking powder. So how it works, you must have to write down from here NaOH-CO3. Likewise, here is an example related to this use, that the NaHCO3, whenever we react it with any acid, and you must have to know that the acid contains the H plus ion. Then whenever we react with the NaHCO3, we got here NaCl as a product, CO2 and sodium salt, sodium salt of acid. And related to it, the which type of acid we can use, here we got the related the sodium salt here. Okay, now, and this CO2 is produced there. This makes the baking powder, that's make the food ingredients fluffy and spongy. Here we have to observe that the CO2 that is produced from here, that is used in the making the bread and cakes fluffy and spongy. Okay, we must have to write down here. This is the basic use which is generally asked in the exam, that is CO2 produced during reaction, CO2 produced during reaction makes cake and bread a spongy. Also write down like this. Okay, so the first use is related to this. There is a question in your exam related to this, that the uses of baking soda. Okay, CO2 produced during the reaction makes the cake and bread spongy and soft. Why? Because it produced the CO2 from here, sodium salt of the acid. Write down or take a snapshot of it. Okay, and what is the next use here? And this is the next use here. NaOCO3 baking soda. Baking soda is used as antacid. Okay, write down antacid. So this baking soda is used as the antacid. It means what? It can neutralize the reaction of the acid in your body. Whenever there is a disbalance of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach, so baking soda is used as this NaHCO3, and whenever it reacts with the hydrochloric acid, whenever there is a disbalance in the stomach and you feel the irritation, then irritation and pain in your stomach, it means what? The hydrochloric acid level is increased. So to manage the effect of this acid, we have to take the baking soda. And whenever the NaHCO3 react with the HCl in the stomach, it can perform a reaction which produce the NaCl along with the CO2 and H2O. Then by this process, the hydrochloric acid is reduced because it formed the NaCl, CO2 and the H2O, and we feel relief from the pain and irritation. Next, we have to move towards. So move towards the next use of here, that is it is used in soda acid fire extinguisher. Okay, you must observe from there, whenever a baking soda is react with any acid, then it produce the CO2, and CO2 counteract the effect of the heating or the fire, so that is used in the fire extinguisher. And your fourth is in as preservative of milk. So why we use as a preservative of milk? You must have to observe, there is in summer, गर्मी के दिनों में क्या होता है, जो मिल्क होता है उसमें लैक्टिक एसिड प्रोड्यूस होता है, उस लैक्टिक एसिड के कारण दूध जो होता है वो खराब हो जाता है. सो वी कैन यूज हियर द बेकिंग सोडा. उसमें बेकिंग सोडा को मिक्स कर देते हैं, जिसके कारण से क्या होता है कि जो मिल्क होता है वो खराब होने से बच जाता है और ज़्यादा समय तक हम लोग उसको प्रिजर्व कर पाते हैं, सेव कर पाते हैं. तो दैट इज होल अबाउट द बेकिंग सोडा हियर. इन नेक्स्ट क्लास or in another upper classes, you must have to study about the in depth about it. But now here is the end of this video. In next video you must have to learn about the another topic.